Good morning, everyone, and welcome to our daily word this morning. It is Tuesday morning, a rainy, sunny, rainy, stormy kind of day. Looks like we have all of that maybe in store for us today. So, glad you could join me for our time together this morning as we continue our conversation through Scripture and the daily word and what it means for us and how we then apply it to our lives. So, I've chosen for this morning from the book of James, chapter 3, verse 17. Now, this particular verse is a verse that Elaine read in her scripture on Sunday morning that she read for us. And I'm going to be continuing from James on Sunday morning and reading and preaching from the book of James on Sunday morning. But Elaine read this particular verse in the midst of many other verses that she read on Sunday. And I preached about Psalm 1, and Psalm 1 being the wisdom literature that we get from the psalmist and teaching us how to live and that we live by streams of living water where our roots can go deep. And it talked a lot about wisdom. So hear this. The wisdom from above is first pure, then peaceable, gentle, willing to yield, full of mercy and good fruits, without a trace of partiality or hypocrisy. So, there is a Yoruba tribe in Nigeria, and they call their elders wisdom people. And according to that oral tradition of that people, they believe that when one of the elders dies, that a library worth of information disappears. We call people like that elders because we think that with their long life, they've harvested wisdom that they can just share then with others. And the older I get, the more I think about wisdom, whatever wisdom I might have, and how then I share it with other people I encounter, not just my family, but specifically my 5 grandkids, but other people I encounter as well. The wisdom that I can impart to others because, I think it's important that we share our stories and that we pass them along and that others get a portion of what we know to be in their lives. And then as their story unfolds, part of that goes with them and then it unfolds and it unfolds. So, but it's interesting to me, and I love when scriptures do this, and there are other places where it builds on itself. And it says this, the wisdom from above, the wisdom you get from God, the kind of guidance you get from God, from the psalmist that we read on Sunday, that kind of wisdom, James says, above all else, is first pure. So think about that. If we put it in context, when we seek God's wisdom, when we seek God's grace, when wisdom flows into us in those powerful ways, it's pure. It doesn't seek to guide us in the wrong direction, doesn't seek to give us the wrong answers. It's just pure. Now, what we do with it then, of course, makes a difference. How we live it out, how it changes us, that's one of the keys to all this. But then what's interesting to me and what I love about this particular verse and others in Scripture, it says it's first pure, then it's peaceable. And we find ways to live in peace with those around us. Gentle, and how we treat each other and live with each other. I think if we lose anything in our society, if we've already lost it, it's how to be gentle with each other. Willing to yield. Willing to yield. The ability to let someone else be first. The ability, as Jesus says to us, to give up our greatness and our pursuit of greatness, willing to yield so that someone else can make a difference. Full of mercy. Full of good fruits. All these things that help us be a whole person without a trace of partiality or hypocrisy. Wow. If we sum all those things up in our lives, and if we take them and know that they build on each other, you can make a difference, and your life becomes significantly better. Pure, peaceable, gentle, willing to yield, full of mercy and good fruits, without a trace of partiality or hypocrisy. I think if anything that we can hear from this text, I think it's a clear call about how we're called to live. And then to live with each other, to live in the broader community. And if we can find ways to do that, then I think, I always say, it makes the world better, but I think this really speaks to a personal kind of thing. It makes you better. It makes me better. Not great, because that's wrong. That's not what I mean, but better. To be peaceable, gentle, willing to yield, full of mercy and good fruits, without a trace of partiality or hypocrisy. That's a big, tall order. And we all don't have it all figured out all the time. I get it. But what if we think about our lives and our connection to God and the power of the risen Christ in us? If one step at a time, these building blocks change us. And it doesn't matter our age. It doesn't matter about where we've been or where we're going or who we are. Those blocks build on each other. And we just simply live better lives. That's what I hope to do. And I think that's what this scripture calls us to. So that's our daily word for today. I think it's a good word for us to contemplate and to think about and to reflect on as God calls us. So, as always, I'm grateful you could join me for our time together this morning. Know of God's love that surrounds you. Know of my love for you. And I will see you tomorrow morning at 10 o'clock. Have a great day.